Hey everybody, so it's obviously no Tuesday, it's Wednesday, but I never done one yesterday. It's been a difficult week, but I'll gear on through as to what happened and what basically last video, as you know, she hadn't eaten anything for 5 or 6 days. She couldn't get out of bed, she couldn't stop being sick. The antibiotics for the pocket A infection were that strong that they were stripping her stomach, blah blah blah. They finally got the right concoction of anti-sickness. She's got this little pump thing, and it goes just into her upper arm. They have to switch sides every few days. And basically it's got a battery, and it slowly over 24 hours, it's got a little thing, and it squeezes the syringe. You know, super, super slow, much slower than, obviously, you know what I'm talking about, super, super slow. So she's on anti-sickness 24 hours a day, and they change the pump 2 or 3 times or whatever, you know, the syringe. And they got it, they nailed it. She's not been sick. She's sick every once in a while because she is eating again. She's drinking stuff again. But sometimes she just goes too far with stuff, and it's difficult because she's got a diabolical thirst because she wasn't drinking much for days, and like for 6, 7 days. But she's doing so much better now. She's eating, everything's going great. And then a guy, so NHS saved my wife's life. Okay, it's as straightforward as that. She died, they brought her back, and they saved her life. They gave me my wife back, and I appreciate that. But I'm trying to explain this without sounding like a cunt, but that doesn't mean that you can then just fuck up loads of other stuff after. And unfortunately, I've had to start keeping a list of stuff on my phone. And there's a list of about 27, some major. There's a couple that I've not asked Sarah if I can tell you about it or not, so I won't. But 1, 2 major fucking things. And then the rest of them are major stroke minor, and then some minor ones, like for example, and I don't see this as that minor, but for example, she's got her own room because she had an infection. And again, they saved her life, and I understand that. But like at one point, I was like, her room hadn't been swept or tidied for 11 days. Plastic caps all over the floor, paper towels. Obviously, she's got a catheter in at the minute because she can't have the strength to get to the bathroom. And if it's got 2 parts, a glass part at the top and then a bag. And if the glass part gets full, you turn the knob and it drains it into the bag, and then they empty the bag. Obviously, it's easy enough. When the top part's full, it leaks. And at one point, there was piss on the floor. They just left it. Now, I was cleaning, I was doing stuff, and at one point Sarah says to me, "You shouldn't be doing that." And I'm like, okay. So we done that thing where, you know, when you've got a friend who you call all the time and they don't call you first, it's a game I call second. Well, I decided to play call second with the cleaning. And 11 days they never cleaned their room. Now, doesn't it sound like much? Maybe, but when you say it loud, it really does, because it's an infection, it's a hospital. And I've got a huge list of things I'm going to have to write a letter or something after. But again, it sounds pernickety, but one of the things is the lack of communication. Like in the middle of her being sick, that like 5, 6 days in, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but one guy who, with no idea who he was, a top doctor, came in and went, "So, you're about 4 or 5 days for going home, are you?" And Sarah's like, looking at me, and I'm like, "No, I think you might have the wrong patient." I don't think so. And I'm like, all right, well, she's not eating for 5 or 6 days. She can't stop being sick. She's got a catheter in. She can't walk. So how is it she's getting home in 5 days? Right. I'll be back in a minute. And that fucker never came back. A lot of things like that. A lot of miscommunication. And what, she's got a drain in her side to drain out that last little bit of infection like I told you about. And this guy came in. Now, she's a woman, okay? And he's a guy. You're supposed to, and just in general, chap the door. Don't wait to be invited in, but chap the door and then come in. It's not a big room, you know? But no, he just fucking bolsters in. Hiya. And Sarah's like, hello. no, I'm doctor, fuck all, just hire. It's like, okay. And I joke we were saying, I hope he was a fucking doctor, but he was. I've seen him just bolsters into the room. I've come to look at your drain. And Sarah's like, all right, okay. Now the drain cable, I'm holding my phone, sorry, but the drain goes into your side, into your stomach. And then, you know, a bit of the tubing comes out. Maybe, let me see, the draining from the flat surface of the skin to out to the bag is maybe a foot of tubing, so the pus and the fluid can drain and into the bag, you know. So it comes out, some bolsters in, says to her, I just want to check your drain, and she's like, right, okay. Since this, we've had to report him, because some other doctors have said, oh, there's a technique where you pull it slightly and do this and do that. No, that's not what happened. He fucking yanked it. Now, not a little bit, not a small, he fucking yanked it. There was stitches stitching that to the skin so the drain doesn't come out. He ripped the stitches, moved the drain by about 3 or 4 inches. So the drain was then ripped. It was no longer at the part inside their stomach it was supposed to be. Now they put water in that drain and scoosh the water in, and it helps flush the poison out. It wasn't reaching the poison because he ripped it out. He never apologised. Sarah burst into tears screaming because it ripped stitches out her skin and pulled the drain. And then she was like, ah, and she's screaming and crying. And he went, oh. And then he just fucking left. No apology. And there's a lot of stuff like that. And it just really, you know, the higher up they get, the less they relate to people as human beings. And that's just the truth. That's just the truth. And a guy came in the other day there and says to Sarah, so Sarah's just been settling in. Because of her anxiety and stuff, it's been hard. But she's settling in. She knows who's on. She knows the nurses, which really helps. Because if you're mentally fucked, you're physically not getting better much either. So she's starting to do, you know, everything was getting better. And then this guy comes in and he's like, so, yeah, we're worried you've got a leak somewhere in your stomach stroke bowel. And Sarah's like, because we were having a great morning. She'd walked, everything was going great. She hadn't been sick. And then this fucking guy comes bolstering in. And I know he's got to do his job, but the bedside manner's just not there with that. Like I say, the higher up, the lesser they give a shit. And I mean, I've got autism, so I'm blunt. But even I know, if somebody's got anxiety, they've been in there for like 2 or 3 months, they're struggling, just a little bit of bedside manner, you know? So anyway, he says, yeah, we're worried you've got a leak, which is why the poison's not gone away. If you have got a leak, we need to send you away to a completely different hospital, way up the town, the Western. You'll move there, and because they're specialists with it. We've got specialists here, but we'd rather you went there. So we have to take you down and inject you with dye, fill you with air, inject you with dye, see how it goes, and then give you a scan and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, cool, so, yeah, we'll be in touch. And then he fucked off. And it's like, okay, so Sarah had a massive panic attack because, you know, why wouldn't you? However, this is where I'll stop complaining now. We found out today, she got the scan and stuff this morning. We found out today she doesn't have a leak, which is huge, huge. There's been a lot of big steps in this recovery. Sarah dying and coming back, massive. In a coma, coming out the coma, massive. Having a drain and a tube in her throat for weeks, the drain coming out, the tube coming out, massive. Not being able to talk and walk and eat, she can now, massive. And this, if she had a leak in her stomach stroke bowel, that was another operation. A fuck off massive operation. Dangerous, brutal, pretty much back a month or 2. Like, I'm not even dangerous, you know, and just shit. Fresh start, new hospital, nightmare. She doesn't have that. And again, it sounds like, I was saying this the other day, it's such a weird thing to have all your energy focused in, considering we only found out about it yesterday. You know, because only came in yesterday and says you might have a leak. Been worried about that for a month or so, and it's like, fuck it, you could have told us. Why have you not checked? So I says to him, why did you not check for a leak, Lulu? Why did you not check for a leak maybe a month ago? Oh, well, we just want to see how it was going. And I thought, guys, you did have a leak for a month. It's been leaking for a month. And I'm not a doctor, so I don't understand. But to me, you know what? I said I wasn't on. So yeah, she doesn't have a leak. The poison section, the pus section in her stomach is even smaller than it was before, which is huge, to the point where they said, we might take your drain out. If we do take the drain out and we wanted to readjust it because of that guy ripping it out, it's that small, the poison, we wouldn't have a target to aim for, so it would be roundabout. So it's small. I turned up the day and Sarah's like, oh, my drain. And I'm like, oh, you're right. She's like, aye, listen, I didn't have a leak. And I'm like, oh, great. And she's just mentally drained and physically not. So we're like, okay, we had a kiss and a cuddle and a hug and a cry. And she's like, can you help me move my drain? It's really hurting me. And I'm like, of course. And I do a lot of that sort of stuff for her because I can. You know, there's no point in me getting a nurse in to help her stuff that I can do. So I'm moving her and I'm like, I can't see it. I can't see it. Where the fuck is it? And I looked up and she's like, and I'm like, your drain's out, you fly bastard. So the drain's out. The pus is small, much, much smaller. The drain's out. She's not got to the Western. She's not got a leak. She's not being sick now, although she was sick earlier because she maybe ate a wee bit too much because she can eat now. And their words the other day was, we're really going to start pushing the physiotherapy and the occupational therapy and stuff now. And she's like, why do you think they're doing that? And I'm like, because they want you to get better and get the fuck out. So I think... But I don't think all of that is fantastic. Huge, huge fucking steps. So I think she's on the way. I think she's on the way through now. I think we're on the other side. One thing I've learned not to do, and it's been really difficult. Like when Sarah was in the coma and she moved her arm, I was like, oh, that's it. She's moving her arm. She's going to wake up. And the doctor, just, you need to calm down and not get too excited. And I was like, right. So over the last couple of months, when something happens, I'm like, okay. Right, outwardly that's great news, but but this is all good news, so I'm allowed to be happy about all this now. I mean, obviously stuff could still happen, but I don't think so. Everything's going the right way now. So yeah, I'm glad I never done the update yesterday because we never had this good news yesterday. So, but everything's going the right way. I might be back to, I might start tattooing again soon, just maybe 3 mornings a week. Just to see, when I do open up again, I'll be doing mornings for a while. Just, my mum will come down and sit with my wife and then I'll come back in the afternoon. But we'll deal with that later. But I might start doing a couple of tattoos. I think it'll be on people that I've tattooed a lot. Like there's a guy called Xander who's got almost a full stuff by me. And a few other people who I'll want to ease back into it and do some sort of traditional stuff or whatever it is. And then just get the swing of things again, but that'll be in the coming days or week or whatever. But yeah, I am working on the paintings. I've got 4 more to draw, and then that'll make 10 or 11 I've left to paint, and then they're all sitting down at the side of my bed there, all of them, everything that's been bought and painted and ordered. Like I said to you before, I'm going to do it in one giant post day, which is coming. It is coming. I really appreciate people have been like, hey man, is my painting being posted yet? If not, it's no problem. I just wonder if it's been missing, and everybody's been super patient, and they knew that for the beginning, but I still appreciate it. That's, you know, I still appreciate it. So yeah, I think things are going all right. I think things are going well. So I'll have an update, unless something super major happens, like they come here and say, look, I don't know what could happen between now and then, but failing that, I shall speak to you next Tuesday. Yeah, thank you so much. And I think I might get some sleep tonight, you never know. But until then, until next week, take it easy. Bye.